This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does without me lifting a finger, so I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
Wall Street sees signs that worst of U.S. stock sell-off is over. We're going to talk a little bit about mind mapping. And then also, it's about time to get IRL. Enjoy.
Stay alive. Go and play outside. I can't be cool forever, but I can stay alive. Jesus was a carpenter, my daddy sold TVs. My mom watched other people's kids and anticipated needs. And when we go down to get groceries, I would flip through magazines, and I wish that I was scared.
Welcome to the Age of Jeremy. My name is Jeremy Quintanilla. I am your host. You might remember me from such businesses as 32 Warrior Academy, Blockheads, the company that brings you Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto, Q Financial, Age of Radio, and Freedom Insurance, to name a few. This is a podcast all about my business adventures and side quests as I build multiple businesses. I share with you my knowledge and occasionally have guests on here along the way. I'm super excited for the guests that we are setting up to be on here. So make sure that you like and subscribe to this podcast. Make sure that you follow me at Age of Jeremy wherever you get your social media. And then also make sure that you join my Dope Insights and Updates broadcast channel in Instagram, where you have the ability to get closer to me, or maybe a better way to say that is you have the ability to ask questions for this podcast. I give other insights there, and I'll be working on some other content as we move the Age of Jeremy brand forward. Let's kick this off with Wall Street sees signs that the worst of U.S. stock sell-off is over. This is again a Bloomberg's article. I recommend everybody get certain magazines to keep their acumen up. One is Bloomberg's, The Economist, Wall Street Journal. If you can't get the Financial Times also. I also get the Arizona Republic. I read a lot of news. I take that back. I get a lot of news, papers, and subscriptions. I read it as much as I possibly can, but I like reading it because I can stay up to date on what's going on, and it gives me access to ideas on what to invest in the future as well, and to know what's going on globally, so that I can make better decisions. The Dow Jones is up 1.42% today, and today I mean March 24th. That's when this is being recorded. The S&P is up at 5,767.57 points, which is up 1.76%. NASDAQ is up 2.27% to 18,188 points. And it looks like the 10-year is down 0.7%, which is expected when the markets do better. The rest of it goes down, or the bonds go down, or the debt goes down. And so Wall Street is seeing a sign that maybe the worst of this U.S. stock sell-off is over. Again, this is an article from Bloomberg, and this article specifically is by Alexandria Simonova. You can also get alerts, and that's one of the things that I love about having the app and being able to see some of the other journalists. I can follow them. I can get updates when they're putting out an article, and you can really dive a little bit deeper into journalism. And again, journalism is one of the things that Age of Radio is all about. And being able to share stories and content and research stuff and share stuff and news and so forth. But the thing that's excited about this is Alexandria reports traders battered by one of the fastest U.S. stock slides on record may be poised for a reprieve. Equity strategists at firms including JP Morgan Chase & Co., Morgan Stanley, and Evercore ISI are advising clients that the worst of the recent downturn is likely behind them, citing metrics from investor sentiment and positioning to favorable seasonality. Major American stock indexes bounced back Monday, that's today, March 24th, after reports that President Donald Trump plans to take a more targeted approach with tariffs, which means that he's willy-nilly not being chaotic. He will roll out some of these new tariffs on April 2nd, easing some concerns that his escalating trade war will fan inflation and stall the economy. Most of the times that we see some of these things happen, whether or not you think tariffs are going to be good or whether or not I think tariffs are going to be good or bad, a lot of this is usually done because people don't know what's happening. And when they don't know what's happening, they're more emotional about it. And then they do things that are emotional as it relates to their stocks, usually selling them off. Those worries about how Trump was going to kind of do this tariff war, I guess, along with lingering fears that the artificial intelligence fueled big tech rally had run too far, meaning tech was overexpanded. This had knocked stocks down sharply since mid-February, sending the S&P 500 index into its seventh fastest 10% drop from a record high in nearly a century and erasing over $5.6 trillion from the index's market's capitalization. This is data that was been compiled by Bloomberg. JP Morgan said the bulk of that came from a cohort of momentum stocks, the 50 names with the strongest price performance in the S&P 500, which had erased 2 years of gains in 3 weeks. But the sell-off also eased the crowding in the segment that had built up during the previous rally. That's what I personally think it was kind of happening. We had a lot of crowded people in the last rally. Some of it needed to be pulled back. It needed to cool off. And I think that this was really that readjusting for what the actual market really was at. This is a quote from Lakos Buhas. Dubravako Lakos Buhas. As a result, the risk of another violent unwind should be low in the short term. And Dubravako Lakos Buhas is JP Morgan strategist. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering your name, friend. He said that in March 21 note to the clients. So on March 24th, this Monday, when I'm recording this, you're hearing it on Tuesday, so yesterday. On Monday, pockets of the market that were hardest hit recently saw the biggest recoveries. A gauge of so-called Magnificent Seven stocks jumped 3.4%. Tesla Inc. soared 12% in the largest one-day gain since November 6th, the session directly after Election Day. The broader S&P 500 advanced 1.8%. So the reason why I'm letting you know this is really important because I want you to know kind of what's going on in the market, and you can kind of get a sentiment of how to look at things for your business. You can get a sentiment of how to look for things with what you're investing in. And one of the things that I keep reminding people is always have a long game plan. Unless you're going to go into this as a short-term investor, a swing trader, it's better to buy the things that you think are going to be here for the long run. Companies that have a really good strategy that looks 10 to 20 years into the future, and then you invest in those and you hold those. And these are the things that I said was going to happen. If you listen to my older podcasts, I had said that if the tariffs strike fear, there's a possibility that there's going to be a lot of pullbacks around this time, exactly when I said that it was going to happen, and then it was going to cool itself off. It was going to kind of steady itself out. And then depending on how Trump reacted to this sell-off would decide if people's sentiment was going to get better and they were going to start buying again. So right now would be a good time to continue to dollar cost average in to the things that you think are going to be here in the future. And if you want to know more of the things that I invest in, make sure that you subscribe to this show, and also make sure that you join my Dope Insights and Updates channel, because I talk about the things that I invest in, when I buy stuff, why I buy stuff, and then you can utilize that to look into to see if you want to add that stuff to your portfolio as well.
The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
USAA. Take your plans out of the group chat and get long weekend ready in new Abercrombie. From day to night, pack new outfits for every part of your itinerary. Grabbing brunch? Throw on the A&F Mila dress. Then head to your dinner reservation in their new bubble hem mini dress. And yes, permission to overpack for pics with the girls. Abercrombie's best-selling Scarlet Squirt deserves a post in your feed. Your plans are worth it. Shop Abercrombie's new long weekend collection online or in store.
There's a lot of conversation about artificial intelligence, and I want to say that it's not going to be going away. We cover a lot of it in our Mercury show that we do. It's an Instagram live show that I do at Age of Radioverse on Instagram. We talk about tech, podcasting news, geekdom culture, pop culture, everything in that regard. And it's something that we see a lot of every single week. There's new articles coming out about artificial intelligence. Now, the thing about artificial intelligence is it's not a super gimmicky thing. Well, it is gimmicky in some regards as it relates to maybe image making, things of that nature. But as a research tool, it is something that I believe that every business owner and every person should have as part of their arsenal. And so I use a lot of ChatGPT. For this episode today, I kind of get research done utilizing ChatGPT about what I want to talk about during the main part of the show. And then I utilize that as an outline of what I want to talk about, and then how I want to talk about it, I add to it when I'm talking. And so I think that, from a ChatGPT perspective, there's lots of benefits from research. But one of the things that I want to mention today is how amazing Notebook LM is. So Notebook LM is a Google product that focuses on search. I think it's from their Deep Minds program. So if you go to Deep Minds, I think you can learn a little bit more about Google's Deep Minds program, I think is what it's called. And then they've integrated Gemini into it. And so what Notebook allows you to do, it's a researching assistant. So you can put in text, you can put in YouTube videos, you can put in websites, as long as there's not some type of block on them. For example, I can't put in a Washington Journal website and have it give me information. But what Notebook LM allows you to do is you can put this information in, you can upload PDF files to it, and it can create audio files for you. If it's not in a PDF, it can make a PDF file for you. It can create FAQs for you. It can create something amazing now that they've added to it, mind mapping. So for example, if I found, took some information that I wanted from an article or from a video, I could have it mind map the different topics and the different layers of topics that goes into the research that I'm doing. And what's great about this for artificial intelligence is that it's not like taking someone's content and then remaking it for you. Now, yes, you can turn it into an audio podcast. Now, if you took that audio podcast and you distribute it, I think there might be, in my opinion, you're taking someone else's work and creating it into some type of content that you're repurposing that maybe you could make money off of, which I don't think is right. But if you're utilizing that and you're listening to it, and that's how you learn and how you research, or you don't have time to read through all of this stuff, or if you want to make an outline, it is just a great tool to organize the things that you are researching and the things that you want to write about or learn about or talk about. And so one of the things, there's lots of different ideas that I have for podcasts. There's different ideas that I have for businesses. There are different ideas for journal entries that I want to write, or articles that I want to write, I guess I should say. And utilizing something like Notebook LM to organize all of that and get it in a place where I can make some rough drafts and then, utilize those rough drafts to build upon, to add to, and then to utilize that for my final copy of what I'm trying to do. I think that's something that everybody should do. And one of the things that blows me away about it is the mind mapping. Now, I think the mind mapping, from what I gathered, only comes from the paid subscription. Now, the paid subscription you can get with Google Workspace. I have Google Workspace through Q Financial, so I get it for free. But I also have my regular, my Age of Jeremy, I guess, brand has, doesn't have Google Workspace, but I have one set up through that so I can keep that research separate. So if I'm trying to do research for something that I want to do for Q Financial or a presentation or a financial article, I have it all there. And what's great about it is when you upload that source, you can select the sources that you want to utilize for the information. So for example, if I have a YouTube video and then I have a Wikipedia article, or then I have another journal article or an academic article from maybe Google Scholar or something, and I'm able to find the print of it, or I have a PDF, I can select on all of those sources, and then I can ask questions about those sources, or have it make me outline of that sources, or mind mapping using all of those sources, or to create a brief about all of those sources. And then if I want to, change that up and ask about different sources, I can change it. And then you can organize this into different projects that you're working on. And it really creates a way for us to do research a lot better. And I'm telling you this this not only for the fact that I think it's awesome and I want you to go and use it, but I really want to encourage people, while there are things that we need to be worried about with artificial intelligence, we don't need to be worried about all of it. We need to make sure that we're governing it. We need to make sure that there's policy being written about it, but we need to utilize it. And there's so much benefit to be utilizing it that can take a lot of stress off of our lives. Like me doing it for the podcast has helped tremendous, right? There's things that I need to get better at the podcast, maybe not trying to rush to get it done. Maybe scripting out when the guests are going to be on a little bit better, making sure that the guest episodes get out. There's lots of things that can obviously get better. But one of the things that takes a lot of time for people is, the research, the outlining, coming up with the ideas. And if we use something like artificial intelligence, we can make that so much better, and we can make it easier for ourselves to get the content that we want out there. Sometimes there's content that doesn't need to be perfect. Sometimes there's a piece or a product that needs to be something that gets out right away, like when there's breaking news, and you could utilize the AI to create what it is, like I said, the outline that you want to talk about, and then you can go live and you can use that as notes, because that's really what we're doing as journalists or as podcasters. We're getting this information, we're repositioning it and trying to get it to you. Now, again, there's different types of podcasts. Like there's the ones where, we could do investigative journal on a 6-piece part, but in everything that we do, we can always have help with an assistant. And so rather than having to go and find an assistant, we have these assistants or these co-pilots right at our fingertips that let us move the things that we want to get out a lot faster. And so we're going to see AI integrated in all kinds of software. On Mercury a couple weeks ago, we talked about how Copilot, Microsoft's AI, has been integrated into gaming for game developers for their development group. Now, eventually they're going to probably roll this out to all of, the Xbox games. But it's like you're going to have this own little assistant to maybe ask questions to about stuff to do in the game, or a friend that you can talk to in the game that can, prod you on to do stuff different. There was a segment on the Xbox development podcast where we listened to a little bit on our show where it showed that the AI was kind of making fun of you because you had set it to be kind of like sarcastic about stuff. So it was like making fun of you or goading you to do a specific thing in the game. And so I think that and also too, you can utilize it to say, how do I do this in the game, and make it a lot easier. And so I think as we move into those realms of utilizing AI as assistants, we are going to be much more efficient. And I know that a lot of the old thought process is if we're more efficient, we have more time to do relaxation and rest and do our hobbies. And that's what we need to utilize this for. We need to not use the AI to get into a trap that we can become more efficient so we can get more work done. Now, for people like me, that might be something that I do. I might do a mixture of it, utilizing AI so I can get work done a lot faster, so that I can go and, maybe play video games more, or play Dungeons and Dragons more, or work on my gaming nonprofit that I have, or be a part of a club or whatever. But the benefit of it is it can provide us more time because of the fact that these things can make us more efficient. Even when we think about AI as it relates to, say, Adobe Photoshop, or, changing images. If I'm doing something in Photoshop or Lightroom, and I want to use Adobe's AI Firefly to change certain things in that, I don't think there's anything wrong with that from the perspective of, if I have an image and I want to lighten something up, if I can just write, hey, can you lighten up the background a little bit? Okay, now add a little bit more of this type of hue to it. And it does that. It makes it so much faster for us to get stuff done. And again, you can be the one that decides if you're going to use AI to be more efficient, so you can just go harder at work and just becoming more efficient and become an efficiency monster, or you're going to use AI so you can get stuff done a little bit easier so that you can go do and enjoy more things in your life. And I think that we need to spend a lot of time and have goals on how we're going to utilize AI, what we're going to know about AI, being a part of the different AI infrastructure that's being out there, and definitely participate. Because one of the things that I worry about is that there's not enough competition in artificial intelligence. There's OpenAI, there's Grok, there's Gemini, there is Anthropic, there's DeepSeek, and I think that that's roughly about it. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few, but Gemini, if I didn't say that. But So we need to be careful because it's being consolidated into a small group of companies that are going to kind of own all of the artificial intelligence. So we need more people. We need more entrepreneurs to get involved with AI, even if they're only using it in their specific current business, but maybe it opens up or creates some type of an idea of something that they can do as a secondary business, utilizing AI specifically, or being a part of creating language models, or starting a nonprofit research for artificial intelligence, or thinking about a way to do policy. And the only way that you can get those ideas, if you're spending time utilizing that technology, knowing about that technology and knowing what it does. So as I encourage everybody to lean into artificial intelligence, lean into this new realm of computing that's happening, but along with AI, along with quantum computing. I encourage you as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a content creator, as a side hustler, whatever the case is, to add this to your toolbox and make it a part of your goal planning and your goal setting for your business and for yourself.
This is a message from sponsor Intuit TurboTax. Taxes was getting frustrated by your forms. Now, Taxes is uploading your forms with a snap, and a TurboTax expert will do your taxes for you. One who's backed by the latest tech, which cross-checks millions of data points for absolute accuracy, all of which makes it easy for you to get the most money back, guaranteed. Get an expert now at TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service. See guaranteed details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
Hi, this is Debbie, your Blinds.com design consultant.
Oh, wow. A real person.
Yep, I am here to help you with everything, from selecting the perfect window treatments
Well, I've got a complicated project.
Oh, not a problem. I can even schedule a professional measure and install. We can also send you samples, fast and free.
I just might have to do more.
Oh, okay.
So the first room we're looking at is for guests.
Shop Blinds.com now and save up to 45% on select styles. Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Since last year, I've been kind of on a journey. We were at a conference called WFG's Win is One conference, or Champions Conference, or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was called. But we're not currently with WFG anymore. We've kind of taken a different route, and we're going and creating our own insurance firm called Freedom Insurance, and I'm really excited about that. We're going to help a lot of people. And it's going to be in kind of the life insurance portion is going to be in partnership from the stuff that I do with Q Financial. And so we're going to be partnering with that business, obviously Freedom Insurance, something that I own too, to run all of our life insurance through as I continue to build what I want to do with Q Financial, which, we'll talk about, at other later dates on this show. Or if you follow me on the Dope Insights and Updates broadcast channel, you'll know what's going on. So, what I heard at WFG kind of changed my mindset on a lot of stuff. And there was this quote that said, talk to more people more often with way more excitement. And it really dawned on me that one of the things that I've been missing in a lot of my businesses was getting out there and selling. Most of my stuff revolves around finance. And so I had been just doing like operational stuff for many years with Age of Radio and not really pushing it forward and not pushing Q Financial forward. And so when I heard that, it really kind of put a fire under my ass, I guess. And I decided that I needed to, if I was going to build Age of Radio the way that I wanted to, and I was going to build Q Financial, I couldn't wait around to get money from another business, to hire developers to do this. I just had to move forward with what I'm good at. And there's few things that I'm good at. One, I love advertising. I love selling ads. I love talking to people about their business. I love finding out about their business. And then I love trying to get their business off the ground utilizing my service, which is Age of Radio, right? The ad inventory that we sell on it. And the second thing that I love doing is I love building relationships and helping people with their investments, helping them make money, helping save them money, understanding tax code, helping them with their tax code, and then learning more about it with myself, doing their bookkeeping, getting their books done, and building that portion of organization, which can lead into a lot of long-term 10 to 20-year planning stuff that I've been working on. Because I also realized that if I'm going to have a 10 or 20-year plan, while I have it in my mind, I want to have it on fucking paper so that I can look at it more regularly, and decide that and keep it as a main focal point of what I'm really trying to accomplish long term. And so one of the things that's important to me, though, with whatever business that I'm doing, I really want it to be to solve something that maybe wasn't in the world before, or maybe do it in a different way so that, you can set yourself apart. And I believe that I can do that with both of these and for the things that I have in the future that I want to do. But it was time to get my shit together and really focus on doing those things. And that quote, talk to more people more often with more excitement, is really what I'm focusing on. And one of the thing is that to do that, though, to build these strong relationships, you have to be with people in real life. You have to get outside of your desk. You have to separate yourself from digital connections, and you have to build real relationships. So this took me on a little bit of a side journey or a side quest, have you, of me learning about loneliness, kind of thinking about where have all the bowling clubs have gone, and I started reading, a book about loneliness. I thought I ordered a book about the bowling alley clubs, but I didn't. And then reading a book about for intimacy. And while there has some things that kind of have pushed that a little bit aside, it's still part of the long-term strategy of getting in front of people in real life and building real relationships. And from those networking is how a lot of wealth can be built. And that's how my wealth gets built based off of my human design. Now, I'm not going to go into human design on this, but if you want to, just look up human design and you can find out what I'm talking about. And so I've been on a mission to do as many conferences as I can to get in front of as many people as I can, because FaceTime, not the app, but having FaceTime with people is so important. And that is one of my main missions. I want to do 20 conferences this year. And since last year, when I started this, we did UWuCon, we did a LibCon, we did two other LibCons since then. I have done Arizona Comics and Coffee Festival. So I've done about 5, maybe 6. I could be counting wrong. Done about 6 of these. I am trying to get into Game On Expo, which will be 7. We have another event, the Women's Expo, which will be 8. I have XRP Las Vegas, which will be 9, and then Bitcoin Conference will be 10. And so rather than just going and trying to be an operator and being they exhaust me sometimes. Like, there's a lot of people. I have to do a lot of stuff from like the XRP Las Vegas and the Bitcoin one, where the other ones, I'm kind of like the head show person where I'm doing the live shows that we do at Mercury. I'm trying to sell stuff. And so I want to be that person and network more with as many people as I possibly can, and then nourish and build those relationships. And I've started to see the benefit of that in the geek community or the comic community, because there were people that I'm starting to get to know on a regular basis by seeing them at these events. And so then the next step is taking that a next step further and nurturing those people and helping them out. Now, I have this idea in my mind that people might think is weird. And some people might, when they hear it, they'll be like, oh, you're being kind of a dick, but it's not. So my goal is to meet as many people as I can, build strong relationships with them in the different areas, help them out when they need help. And then when I need help, reach out to them, but not expect them to help me. Have that available and be like, hey, not to do a quid pro quo thing. Like, I helped you out at this point. The idea is to help them, support them, build them up. When I need something or I want help with something, I ask them. If they're not able to do it, then that's that. And then I still continue to help them. And that's how, in my opinion, so far you build real strong relationships. And this is something that I'm going to probably be part of my yearly thing about getting really good at being a people person or a salesperson, because no matter what we're doing, we're constantly selling, right? There's a book called To Sell Is Human, and I encourage you all to read it. But no matter what we're doing, me talking to you right now is I'm selling you on why you should continue to listen to this every single week, right? It has to be good. I have to give you to value. I have to ask you to come back. And we have to do that in all the things in our lives. So I'm really focusing on this in real life event thing. And it's really important because, diving into entrepreneurship, I think a lot of people think that you can do all of this hiding behind a screen. And what I'm telling you right now is if you really want to get it to the next level, you have to have a social media strategy, both organic and paid. And you also have to have a relationship building strategy that are real relationships. And so the first thing that I say, if you want to get out in real life and build relationships and get out behind your screen, you have to keep this in mind. You're not trying to go and build customers. You're trying to, or partners. You're trying to go out there and build friends. And that means that if it doesn't result in you getting something right away, then fuck it. The goal is to build a relationship and build someone that can be your friend. And that's what's more important. And that's also what's more important for the long term and the longevity of securing strength, right, in your industry, and also curbing loneliness and depression over time. And I think one of the things that, not to get super off track here, but that's one of the things that we're missing. When I'm sitting here and reading Lyndon B. Johnson's Path to Power, which is a book I'm still fucking reading, when I'm reading that book, I read it and I see the things that he did and what he was doing. Now, I think that he only did it for selfish reasons. I don't know his heart, but the way that it comes across from Robert Caro is that Lyndon only did these things for selfish reasons, so he could, focus on his path to power and focus on being president. But let's say that he didn't. He always had success and always had support because he nurtured and built and did things for people. Now, he was one of those people that was like, hey, remember this time I did you a favor? Remember this time I did you a favor? Remember you need to do me a favor now type of thing. I'm not saying do that. I'm saying just do the favor for people because it's nice. If you need help, ask them. If they're not able to help them, still be your friend, still help them. And eventually it will all work out in your favor. So I encourage everybody on here to get in the real life and build strong relationships. So that was the first thing that I wanted to say. So there's this myth of digital only success. So a lot of the times I feel that on social media, we've been sold this idea that you can start and scale $1 million business from your laptop, from wherever you're at in the fucking world, never meeting another human face to face. And that's the dream that we've sold everybody. That's a sexy passive income dream where we can live this amazing life and not really build any real connection with people. And the truth is you can't just build it over email. It's built through handshakes. It's built through eye contact. One of the things that I've learned from my friend Johnny Crypto over the years of doing Merlin is you have to get on the fucking phone and call people. We just had an hour-long conversation about negotiations with a sponsorship that we were going to do, that we found someone that we want to pay someone to sponsor them so that they can talk about Merlin on their YouTube channel. And we talked about the negotiations for it for about 45, 30 minutes. And at the end, Johnny made a really good point to the person that we were, our salesperson or our liaison between us and the YouTube person. And he had said that, for this type of thing that we want to do, we want to make sure that, it'd be a good idea to call them, explain to them what we're looking for, explain to them why we're coming back to them, what we're really after, have that conversation. And then hopefully it can be expressed a little bit better through email. When you're sitting across from someone in person, you show them like your passion, you show them your energy, you show them your vision. And that's really where the magic happens. I spent all freaking weekend, not all weekend, I shouldn't lie. I spent all day Saturday from about 10 o'clock to about 5 o'clock talking to people at Arizona Comics and Arts Festival. If you want to see those interviews that I did, a few interviews, I did an exhibit walkthrough. It's all on Instagram at Age of Radioverse if you want to check them out. And, I got to know people. I got their cards. These are people that I will nurture, that I'll spend time and freaking nurture these in real life relationships with. And that is when I think the magic really, really happens. And now, because we spend so much time in this atmosphere where we're behind our computer, where we're doing stuff, even if it's not on FaceTime. One of the biggest things, not to get off topic, but one of the things that really frustrates me the most is when you're doing a Teams call or a FaceTime call or whatever, and the other person doesn't have their camera on. It drives me freaking crazy. I want to see the other person. At least I feel like I'm there with them in real life. I think COVID really changed our perception of what it meant to do business or how we do business. And I think it has a lot of benefit, being able to work from home more, being able to do a lot of stuff virtually. But people that are really winning right now are the people that are the ones getting back into their networks, into their clubs, into the meet and greets. And not only a meet and greet, right? I talk about this on the podcast a lot, not in a meet and greet where I'm going to give you my card, you're going to be your card, and we're going to go our fucking separate ways. No, it's about us having a fucking conversation, getting to know each other, maybe going out on a date, not like a male-female date, but us going out, hanging out, going out on a get together, getting to know each better. And from there, business can progress how it's supposed to progress, or in a better way in which it progresses, right? Whether it's a networking event, whether it's a conference, whether it's a lunch meet, or just, flying out to meet someone, you're putting themselves in the same room. And when you put yourself face to face someone, I feel like it gives you more power. Proximity really creates power. If you want to raise money, you have to get in front of investors. If you want to close really big deals, sit across the table from those decision makers, get them on the phone, actually physically talk to them. You want a mentor? Don't just DM them, get in front of them, have lunches with them, dinners, right? I had to read a book in college called Never Eat Alone. It was about this concept, right? I really believe too, what that author believed, that the people that should be running the businesses are the marketing, the chief marketing officers, but that's a completely different side story or side quest as well. But point is that if you want to have a true relationship, you have to be with the people in which you're trying to build the relationship. Think about it this way. If you want to have a really strong marriage, it's not going to work with the two of you just talking on the phone. It's not going to work if you are just talking to them through a computer. It's not even sometimes going to work if you're just sitting in the same room with them, having a conversation with them, chilling, talking. You have to take them out. You have to do nice things for them. You have to take care of them. You have to have compassion for them. You have to truly care about them. That's what all friendships and relationships need to be like in some freaking aspect. And it can be a lot of hard work. But I tell you, the small amount of time that I have spent building stronger relationships with different people in my life and actively trying to build that relationship for the people that are willing to spend that time to build that relationship with me, my life is 1000% more enjoyable because of that. And it has also resulted in us doing other business things together and me having help in my businesses. And there's going to be so much more stuff that we do into the future as well. This weekend, I interviewed Saurabh. And Saurabh's a perfect example of meeting someone and it building a really good, strong relationship. Okay. So one, we met Saurabh. He has a company called Flat Mountain Publishing. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. He's one of the best speakers that I've ever met about the stuff that he knows how to do. He loves Dungeons and Dragons, so that's a huge plus. He makes these fantastic books for kids. I'm working to get him on my podcast, but if you want, I've done 2 interviews with him. I met him at a comics and cocktails event that one of the organizers does, same organizer for the Arizona Comics and Arts Fest. It's not the same company, but one of the organizers is the same. So it's an event where you go to a hotel, you have a booth set up, you get drinks, you share about stuff, you talk to people, you try to sell your shit. Okay. Normal vendor exhibit, comic book selling shit thing, right? Okay. Except it's fun because it's an adult oriented one. People drink, and I don't drink, but people drink and they have fun. We were sitting next to Saurabh. I talked to Saurabh. He talked to us about our Kickstarters. He's trying to do a Kickstarter for his new D&D book called The Wilds of Amaranth. It's going to start here in April. You can check it out at The Wilds of Amaranth. I'll put a link in the episode description so you can go support the project. It's a kids D&D campaign. It's freaking phenomenal. So I had said, hey, I'd be interested in interviewing you on my podcast. Nothing came of it. I had a LibCon. I met him. So I went to LibCon West, and I saw him there again. So again, in real life, we were at the Comics and Cocktails event. We were at LibCon West in Glendale. I was like, oh shit, Saurabh, hey, I hadn't had a chance to talk to you. How's everything going? You doing your Kickstarter? Hey, you want to come on my podcast? Hey, next event that we go to, are you going to Tempe FanCon? I'd love to go to Tempe FanCon. I'll set up an actual interview with you. And he was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. So at Tempe FanCon, I got to have it. I did an interview with him. It was a fantastic interview. We talked about his D&D campaign book, and then I put it out. And then we had kind of stayed a little bit in touch between then. He emailed me. I hadn't emailed him back. And then I saw him again at the event that we went to this weekend at the Arizona Comics and Arts Festival. He came up to us. I was like, hey, Saurabh, I owe you an email. He's all right, man. I was like, hey, do you want me to come over? I can do another interview. He's like, yeah, that'd be great. I said, okay, cool. Your Kickstarter's coming out on the 1st. Let me try to get you on my podcast. I'll do some clips from it. I'll run some ads for it just to push my, the podcast too. And then to push your Kickstarter for the Wilds of Amaranth. And he was like, yeah, that'd be great. We did a fantastic interview. You can see them all on Age of Radioverse. And the point is that he helped me by being someone that I could do these interviews with, that I could try these things on, that I could test stuff with. He's super easygoing. So stuff got messed up. It was fine. We kind of fixed it. We got through the interviews. The second interview did even better. And then I also promote his stuff. This is like the perfect example of being in these in real life events, seeing the same people over and over, and then building really good friendships, right? If I lived, and I'll still try to do this a couple of times, maybe over the next couple of years while they're doing the second book, the Wilds of Amaranth Part 2 and the Wilds of Amaranth Part 3. They go to this brewery out in Gilbert. Now, I don't drink. I'll go to the brewery. I'll check it out. It's kind of far from where I live, but I'll still go and do that. And I actually now have built a real friend that is also someone that I can do business stuff with, which means that as he's doing his stuff, he has access to a media company. As I'm doing my stuff, I have access to the stuff that he does, which is writing. He has access to artists. And that's how you build a really good bond and a really good friendship where you have access to do stuff with people. Another example is that there was an artist there named John Amal in Austin that Sorab had met at these events. And over the years, they've built friendships. Now they're doing projects together. They're releasing comics, and John Amal's doing some covers for some of the comics that Sorab does. So again, there's all kinds of benefits of building these relationships. But the thing is, it's freaking hard. You have to dedicate time to it. For example, I have all these emails of all these people that I've gotten. I'm going to have my mom put them into our CRM, which is HubSpot. And then this week, I'm going to go and email all of them out and thank them for letting me talk to them at their table, for letting me talk to them at the event. And then they remember you, and then you can start building a true relationship. And apart from that, as we go through life and we build these relationships, this is apart from business. As we're building these relationships, this is how we maintain friendships as adults. This is how we curb loneliness as adults. This is how we build meaningful, lasting things in our life that can provide this real purpose. And then if those people end up dying, if they end up going out of your life, you still have these great relationships and strong relationships with people. And Frientimacy does a really good job. It's a book for female friends, but it works for men too. And I think men should read it. Is that it's like you have your like really tight inner circle. Then there's like this other circle that you build relationships with. And over time in life, some of those people from those other circles end up going into the bigger, the tighter circle, as those people maybe go on and move on from your tighter inner circle. And that's how we can really, in America, in my opinion, really make meaning and change loneliness, is by building really strong relationships with many people. But back to being in real life. So some things that you can do to get off of your keyboard and into the room is really work on getting on FaceTime, okay, or Teams, or on Google Meets or whatever. Do that instead of sending an email. If you have any type of opportunity to communicate someone in some type of FaceTime or face-to-face position, even if it's not in real life, that's the first step. So work your way from doing phone calls and text messages to say, hey, do you want to jump on a Zoom call? Do you want to jump in on face-to-face? The second part of that is get your fucking ass out of your house and out of your office and go to local networking events. And even if, yes, local networking events can be kind of shitty, there are some really cool ones. In Arizona one, there's a pickleball one. Go and play some pickleball with people. That's an actual fun event. I haven't been to one yet because I've always have an event that takes place when that event takes place, but I'm working on it. Get out there and do that. Join a league at your gym. Talk to people at a bowling club. There's a book called Where Have All the Bowling Clubs Gone that I want to get. I need to read because it goes along with this. But go out and get to events. Join clubs. Join business clubs. There used to be a thing called the 4-H club. I don't know if that exists anymore. Become a Freemason. Whatever the case is, get out there and attend a local networking event. Do one of those a month to start, then do 2 a month. 1 a week kind of can get pretty crazy. A lot of people have a lot of stuff going on, but maybe 1 or 2 a month. And you are out there meeting people, get their card, follow up with them, ask them out if they want to go hang out, maybe go play some golf. Or I don't like golf, but I will go play golf if someone else wants to play golf. I would prefer to go to bowling. I'm really talking a lot about bowling, or playing darts, or playing pool. Let's go play some pool. But most people, especially in Arizona, they like to go play golf because you can do it like, I don't know, every day here. I don't think there is the time that our golf clubs are closed, but I could be wrong on that. Join a freaking golf club. There's tennis usually there. Join a tennis club. There are all kinds of things that you can do to get out of your house, meet new people, and network. And I'm sorry for all the introverts out there. You're going to have to do it if you are going to want to be successful. Just remember, introvert and extrovert is how you get your energy. If you go to one of these events, you will get exhausted. Make sure that you set time to do what it is that you enjoy by yourself so that you can recharge. Me, I recharge when I'm around people. That's why this podcast is probably like so enthusiastic, is because all weekend I was talking to people at an event. That's how I recharge. When I know my body's getting drained, I need to go to a movie with friends. I need to go hang out with friends. I need to go to a large group. I am 100% the biggest extrovert of all fucking time. And so I need to be around people to get my energy. When I'm by myself too long, I don't have energy. But that means that as an introvert, you can go to these events. You just don't have to be in everybody's face like I am. You can be kind. You can not, I'm not saying I'm not kind, but you can be soft spoken. Just say, hi, this is me. Just try it. Then when you need to get your energy back, go be by yourself, recharge, do whatever it is that recharges you, and you'll be good. I promise. Schedule one-on-one lunches. That's why that book's called Never Eat Alone. You should never be eating alone. You should always be eating with someone, talking, thinking, strategizing. Not saying that every meal has to be a business meal, but again, go and have coffee with people, hang out with them, people, talk to them, and make it regularly. Go to conferences. Conferences are the best. I had such a blast at the Health and Wellness Expo that we did, where we were trying to talk to people about advisors. I still have people that I need to reach out to about that. I still have the people that I just went to this conference for. This was a comics event, but it's kind of like a conference. Get everybody's card, reach out to them, build relationships, have time set aside every other week for a couple of hours to just do relationship building stuff. If you can, do it weekly. And then last one, host something yourself. If you're not getting the results you want, host it yourself. That's one of the reasons why I get tables at these events. I get the tables at the events. I get people to talk to me. I talk to them. We build a relationship, and then we're able to get on to do other interviews and other things of that nature. But again, you can start your own club. You can start your own networking event. There's all kinds of opportunities out there to get in the real world and meet people. Again, I want to make it clear, tech is amazing. I use it every day. I just did a whole segment on how all of you should be using artificial intelligence. So don't confuse me saying that you shouldn't be utilizing all of these amazing things that we have to be able to do things faster. What I'm saying is that when you slow down and you spend time getting to know people and talking to them, you can build much longer lasting relationships that I believe will give you much longer lasting wealth in the long term. You know, your ability to build relationships in real time, in real life, is really what separates amateurs, you know, from real entrepreneurs or people that have been in the game a long time, because we're always selling whatever we're doing. So getting off of the sidelines, getting into the room with someone, shaking their hands, making eye contact, that's a really great strategy that you should be having for your business, because the more that you know, the better, the more people you know, the better knowledge you can gain from them, and the better that you can have access to diversity, right? To diversification and diversification with all of those people that you know, which then if something changes in your business and you don't know how to manage it, you have a group of people that you've met throughout your life, that you've been building these relationships that you can turn to. Everybody, even when I was there's a guy named Tim Massey's a content creator when I was at Arizona Comics and Arts Festival this last Saturday. He asked me when he found out that I did financial education and stuff like that. He's like, hey, can I get on your calendar? You know, I want to talk to you. My business had he had another business, like his main business. He's like, my business, you know, had some profits. I really like to know what to do with them. If we start getting more profits, you know, could you help me manage that? And my fucking response was, fuck yeah. Do I want to get paid for that? Fuck, no. I want to be his friend. I want to have a relationship with him, right? That will lead to other things where I will make money. He'll make money. We'll be good friends. I'll have friends. We'll do cool shit together, right? That's what it's really about. I think one of the things that people get, it's always about what can I get from that person. Start thinking about it. What can I give? And how can I build a strong friendship with this person? And from that, that's how you will close the deal and how you will become wealthy. Just remember, your net worth is your network. Your network is your net worth, right? The more people that you know, the better relationships you have, the more access to net worth you have. And that doesn't mean just getting cash from them. It means knowledge. It means power. It means strategy. It means everything. So again, spend some time in real life making real relationships. And remember, be thankful, grateful, and kind. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to The Age of Jeremy. You can subscribe to me on all social medias at Age of Jeremy. You can also join my Dope Insights and Updates channel on Instagram at Age of Jeremy. I would really appreciate it. I'd also appreciate it if you subscribe to this podcast. And if your podcatcher allows you to, please share it with someone and then also give us a rating. The opening song was Can't Be Cool Forever by Medium Build. The closing song was Mutable by Spanish Love Songs. I'm recording into a Neumann microphone into my Zoom L8 onto Steinberg's Cubase, and I will use Waves plugins in post. And one last time, be thankful, grateful, and kind. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Until I go.